Hello everyone, today in this video we'll be discussing the first module of the principles of programming of C, which is Introduction to C. Before starting the video, I want to say something that in this video I'm just discussing the perspective from the C programming. Okay, what all is required to understand from the C programming, that questions and the topics I'm discussing, just the coding part and the structures. Apart from this, there is a separate half module which discusses what is computers, history of computers, and the different types of input and output devices, and like all those theory part. Okay, I'm not discussing the theory part because you can easily understand the theory part by reading it yourself. Okay, and the main purpose of this is to give you an explanation what is difficult to understand. Like some people who are just starting with the coding, they want more information regarding what is coding and how do you write the codes, what is data type, and so on. So this video is solely for the basic beginners, with the point of view of those who are looking the questions related to the coding. Okay, so you can go through the theory part, that is also important, but not as important as the second part, which is coding. Okay, most questions are asked from here only. So this is what I'll be discussing here. So here we'll be learning from the beginning what is programming and how do you program in the C language, and all those things we'll be discussing. So make sure you hit the like button, subscribe to my channel for more videos like this. If you watch this video till the end, easily you can score more than 80% marks. So without wasting more time, let's get started. So the first topic is, let's discuss what is coding. Okay, so in computer, if you want to get some output, what we have to do is we have to provide some input, right? We provide some input, it will process and give us some output, right? That is what the function of computer is. Now what is coding? Coding is a way in which we tell the computer what to do. Okay, it is a way in which we tell the computer what to do. So computer will take the input, process the input, and produce the output. Okay, so this is how the computer works. Now, to perform a function, we have to write a code. Okay, code means we are instructing the computer what to do. We are giving it some lines of data, and it will understand this data because it's in the computer understandable language, and the computer will process that information and do that action which we are asking it to do. Okay, so for example, calculate 7 multiplied into 5 using computer. Okay, please calculate what is 7 into 5. So a user is saying this. So computer will say, I do not understand what you are saying. Please code it. You have to give me in the code form. Then only I will be able to understand. Okay. So this person will sit and write the code for 7 into 5. It will be something as follows. He will store the value of 7 in a variable, like how we do in algebra. 5 will also be stored in a variable, and then we will be printing A into B. So the computer will say, okay, now I understand. The answer is 35. Okay. So this is what is called code. Okay. So there are different ways of writing the code. Okay, so there are four main ways, which is called programming paradigms. The first one is monolithic programming. Okay, in monolithic programming, what we do, we emphasize on finding a solution. Okay, so here, as you can see, this is called as global data. Means what are the variables we are going to use, we will be declaring here in the program. Okay, means we want to use a and b for the finding the sum, right? So we will be declaring it here, a and b, like that. Then we will be performing the code here. Okay, don't go into the details, just understand that here the variables are defined and here the code is written, and then we will be stop and exit. This is called as monolithic programming. Next is the procedural programming. What do you mean by procedural? Procedure means focuses on the algorithm. Algorithm is a way in which we do the actions. Okay, so first step this, second step this, third step, fourth step, and so on. This whole thing is called as algorithm. So procedural programming focuses on algorithm. Okay, so here the global data will be there, and here many algorithms will be written. The whole program will have n number of algorithms. Okay, so we'll be using those programs to, I mean the algorithms to perform the task, and the whole task will be together taken as a program. And in the program, we'll be requiring data, which we'll be declaring here, like the variables and the numbers we'll be requiring for processing the data, right? So that will be stored in global data. Okay. Next, we have the structural programming. Okay, in structural programming, we'll be focusing on modules. What do you mean by modules? If there is a big thing, we'll be dividing into many things. Each one is a module. Okay, like that. So a big program will divide into small programs. That is called as modules. So this image is similar to the previous one, procedural programming. Last one is the object-oriented programming. This is very important from the exam point of view. Object-oriented programming is the most widely used. Here it emphasizes on classes and objects. Okay, so what is a class, what is an object? Just understand that class is a way in which we define what is to be there, and object is we are creating an instance out of it. For example, if I define that a student's ID card should have this name and age and date of birth, and when we create one ID card, that will be the object. Okay, This is a schematic diagram here. So there will be different objects which will be interconnected with each other, and they'll be passing the data in between and performing the function. So these are the four types of ways in which you can write the code. Okay. Moving on to the second topic, we have design programs, flowcharts, and algorithms. Okay, so how do we design a program? If you want to write a program, how do we start from the beginning? First, we do the requirements analysis. We'll be analyzing what is required actually. Like if you want to write a program which will save the user's data. Okay, so what is our requirement? Exactly that only, saving the user's data. So that we'll be identifying first. Then we'll be designing the way in which we'll be implementing it. To save a user data, what we need, how do we save it, the design we will be making. Then we will be implementing it by using a programming language, writing the code and developing the code, and then we'll be testing by putting some users data and whether it is working fine or not. Then we will be deploying it, and then we'll be doing the training and support for those who are going to use it, and then we'll be also maintaining it. If any error happens, we have to fix that error. Okay, so that is the whole process. How do we design the program, or how do we yeah, designing the program. Next we have the algorithm. What do you mean by algorithm? It is a blueprint to writing a program to solve a particular problem. It is a step-by-step process which is written and kept for a particular program. This is called as algorithm. How to do how to execute a program, how to write the program, what is the logic of it, everything is put in a single piece of information. That is the algorithm. Okay, so there are three things which we use in writing the program. First is the sequence. Sequence means we'll be writing this should happen first, then this, then this, then this, then this, so on. So like for example, here you can see the first line: input the first number a, input the second number b, calculate the sum a plus b, print the sum, and end. Okay, so this is what the sequence is. After one it is happening. That is the first type of technique we use for writing the code. Second is the decision. Decision means in this part, as you can see, if a is equal to b, print equal, if else print not equal. So here a comparison is happening, if a is equal to b or not. Based on this comparison, either equal will be printed or not equal will be printed. Okay, so this is what the decision, second type of thing which we use in the writing codes. Third is the repetition. Repetition means we'll be repeating something again and again. So for example, here we have said I is equal to 0, n is equal to 10. From I is equal to 0, I will become 1, then 2, then 3, then 4. It like that, it will go till 10. All this time what should happen is it should print I. Okay, here I have written step 3, print I, right? So every time when I will be whatever value, if it is 0, 0 will be printed. When I will become 1, 1 will be printed. When I will become 2, 2 will be printed. How is I changing value? We will be discussing that in the upcoming topics. Here for that we are using the step 4, set I is equal to set I plus 1. I will become I plus 1. Okay, so like that it will keep on incrementing I, and the I's value will keep on getting printed in each iteration. Okay, so the one time it happens, that is one iteration. Second time it happens, second iteration. Like that it is called iterations. Then we'll be ending. This is a third kind of technique we use, which is the repetition. Combining these three, we write the codes. Okay, what is a flowchart? Flowchart is the graphical representation of the process. Okay, so it is having some symbols and the names, and also it represents some information. For example, the symbol oval, what it represents is the start and end. So if you want to make a flowchart for a program, we'll be making it like this and writing start here. Okay, then we'll be proceeding further, like using arrows and so on. Whatever, as you can see here, for input output, if you want to take, we'll be making a parallelogram. If it is a statement on expression, we'll be using rectangle. Rhombus is used for decision making. Like for example, if I have arrived at a situation where a user has entered password. Okay, password is taken, it is right or not, that how I'll identify. I'll put rhombus here, and if the password is right, yes. If it is wrong, no. Okay, like that we are using rhombus inside the flowchart, like that. Okay, it has looping is there, connectors is there, function is there. Need not go into the depth, just understand that there are some graphical representations for the flowchart. Okay, then we have the types of error. There are four types of error. Runtime error means that when we execute the program, the program is running. At that time, if any error happens, that is called as runtime error. For example, dividing a number by 0. If I have written a statement where I put as 1 divided by 0, like print 1 divided by 0, this will be error will be noticed when the program will be running, and it comes to this point where 1 divided by 0 is written, and then the error will happen. That is called as runtime error. Second is compile time error. Compile time error means during the compilation, means checking of the program. I've written the program, then the program will be compiled, means the check will happen. If it is right, then it will be executed. So when it is checking, at that time the error can happen, that is called as compilation error. So here the things can be syntax error or semantic error. Syntax means there is a particular way of writing the program. We cannot write whatever we want. Okay, this has a syntax error at this point because nothing can end with a colon here. It should always be semicolon in C. Okay, this should be used and this should not be used. So if this is used, this is a syntax error. Like that, semantic error is there. A into B is equal to C. Can you identify what's the error here? It might look simple for you, but the error is that it should be C is equal to A into B, because A into B's value calculates and sits in C. So first this should be there in the right hand side and C should be there in the left hand side. Okay, so that is how the semantic error is. The order of the sequence will be specified. Okay, logical error occurs due to incorrect statements. That is our mistake. Like for example, if you meant to perform C is equal to A plus B and mistakenly you wrote as C is equal to A into B, you wanted to perform A plus B, but you wrote A into B, then it's a logical error. Okay, like that we have linker error. It happens when the function is not able to get a link. That means every function has a library with it. Okay, library means all function definition will be there. If you have not included this, if you have not included the library, this is called as a library header file, which we'll discuss in the upcoming topics. So this thing should be included. This should be written at the top of the program. Then only we will be able to use the functions associated with that. Okay. So if this is not present, there will be no link between the function and the library, and we'll be getting an error. That is called as linker error. Very important question. 4 types of error. Make sure you learn that. Okay. Next, we have the last topic, which is introduction to C programming. Okay. So in C programming, we have tokens. First, you need to understand what is token. Token is nothing but a smallest unit that can be used in a C program. Okay, it is the smallest unit which can be used in a C program. Fine. So like for example, in English, I am a boy. Each word is a token. This is a token, this is a token, this is a token, and this is a token. That is the smallest thing which we are using. Even the last full stop is also a token. Okay. In max we'll be having these kind of expressions, right? 6x square plus 2x plus c is greater than or equal to sine y plus cos square x minus 2. Each of this is a token. This is one token, this is one token, this is one token. So everything which we'll be using in the program or writing, that is called as a token. So in C programming, if it is written like this, int x is equal to 75, then print f percentage d x. Each of these things is a token. Int is a token, x is a token, equal to is a token, 75 is a token, semicolon is a token, and so on. Okay, so based on that we can categorize. There are different types of tokens. Like for example, you can see x is here, 75 is here, here semicolon is here, here the opening braces is there, here printf is written, here equal to is there. Each can be categorized into different types. Okay, and all of them are called tokens. We'll be using tokens for writing the C program. Okay, so different types of tokens include keywords, variables, constants, special characters, strings, and operators. So let's understand each one by one. Okay, so what is a keyword? Keyword is C set has a 32 reserved words. Okay, how many reserved words are there? 32 reserved words. Means some words are there, a list of words are there. That is the reserved words. We cannot use that word for some other purpose. That word has a specific meaning as well. Those are called as keywords. For example, the keyword for, do while, if, else, int, return. These codes are used to perform some operation during the program. For means it will be used for the looping purpose, for loop. Do while is also used for the loop. This is used for the condition checking. The else is also used for the condition checking. Int is the data type. Return is the keyword used for returning the final value. So these words we cannot use it again. These are specified for a meaningful purpose. Those things are called as keywords. Okay. What is variables? Next is variable means in algebra you remember we used to use variables which store some value in it using an alphabet. Similarly, we can also use alphabets to store values in programming. Okay, for example, I can use a variable a to store 1 to 5. If I can use a variable b to store candy, I can use the variable c to store another number, and so on. They can be stored as numbers, boolean values, and strings, or some other type of data. Okay, any data which is stored here, it is called as a variable. Okay, so we can also use a name. It's not necessary that only a can be used, b and c. We can use some names also. For example, I can use my bestie, and what's my name? Bestie's name xyz. My enemy's name is klm, and here we can store the value dad as efg, and so on. Okay, like that we can store the values using some names also. That is called as the variable names. And we cannot use all the names which are present. There are some rules in which we can use the name. For example, I cannot use one talk like that. The variable name cannot start with a number. It should always start with a letter only. Like that, some other rules are also there. Okay, I'll not define all the rules here. You can go through the official notes, but there are some rules for naming your variables. It cannot include special characters like hash, dollar, caret symbol, question mark, and extra. And underscore can only be used. That's why I've used an underscore. Okay, and there cannot be two successive underscore. You cannot have successive underscore like this inside a name a b like that. This cannot be used, but a underscore b can be used. Okay, and keywords cannot be used as identifier. Keywords which I just shown you, we cannot use a variable to name int. We cannot use a variable to name for. We cannot use a variable to name else. Okay, because those are reserved words. We cannot use it for naming our variables. Okay, that is called as identifier and its rules. Second, after that we have the data types in C. There are different kinds of data like character data we are storing, integer data, and decimal and floating data. Double means a bigger number, and valueless means void. These are the different data types. Okay, and the data types is also given here: char, int, float, double, and void. Okay, and the use case is also given to store characters, to store integer number, to store floating point numbers means 5.6 like that kind of numbers, and to store big floating numbers, double will be using like 6.514 3 2 1 0 like that. Okay, so that for that we'll be using the double. Okay, so these data types can be declared first. In order to use it, first you have to declare it. Declare means how we will do, we'll just write simply int, and after that the name. Here the name is emp number, float, and then the name, salary, char, and then the name which is grade, double, balance amount, unsigned short, int, account number. So these are some advanced ones, unsigned short and all, but just understand this is the data type and this is the name for it. Okay, after declaring we can initialize, means we can put some value into it. For example, int a is equal to 10, so a will have the value 10. Float x is equal to 1.10, x will have 1.10, and so on. First we have to declare the variables and then we have to initialize the variables. Okay, and we can also use constants. Pi is equal to 3.14, so whatever happens in the program, it will not change the value of pi, it will be staying as constant. Okay, but if we use just int a and then somewhere we specify a is equal to 11, a will become 11. But if we use this one and then write pi is equal to 7, pi will never become 7. If it's a constant, it will throw an error. Okay, so that's why constants are used if you want to keep the value constant. Okay, next you have the structure of C program. So this is a simple C program. Let me take you through it one by one. So here we have first a hash include studio.h. Okay, that is a preprocessor directive, also known as header files. So what is a header file? Header file is nothing but it has a lot of functions within it. Okay, it is a library of functions, means all the functions are defined, and once we use hash include studio.h, instead of writing all those functions, by using this include, all the functions will be available to use. For example, printf is a function of studio.h. To use this, okay, this is a function for printing. Okay, so to use this one we'll have to include this one. Okay, so that we'll be able to access the functions present here. Next, this is our user defined function. User defined function void hello and printf hello world. So what will happen, we have defined something as hello, and what should hello do? Hello should printf hello world, but it will not always print. It will only print when we call the function. Let's understand how we call the function. Before that, there is a concept of global variables. If we declare a variable which before the void main, this is the main function which is executed. First function which is executed is the main function. Before that, if we want to have some variables, we'll be declaring in the global variable section. This is int global variable. Okay, so this will be accessed in the whole program. Okay, and if you declare it inside the void main, it will be int abc. This is the local variable. This cannot be accessed at this point. Okay, but global variable can be accessed in the whole program. Okay, that is the difference between global variable and local variable. Okay, so local variable can be accessed between this and this. This is the scope of it. Okay, opening and closing braces. Next we have printf hey there. So this will be printing a value. This is just normal execution of a statement. Next we have hello and then bracket here. What does this mean? This is known as calling a function. From the main function we need to call a function. So what will happen? Hello is called means it will go to hello and it will execute this line of code. So printf hello world will happen, and then again it will come back here and it will start the execution from here. Okay, so this is called calling the functions. And this is a comment which is a double slash here. So this is called as a comment. If you want to write something, our text or our own information, something, we can use the comment, and the comments will not be executed, it will be ignored, it will be ignored by the program. Okay, so this is just for the documentation purpose we can use. And if you don't use this one, then error can happen, because this all thing will be considered as a statement of line of code, but this is not a line of code, right? So we have to use double slash to make it as a comment, so that it will not get executed or taken into for the syntax checking and all. Finally, we write return 0 to indicate the end of the program. Okay, this is the structure of the program. Now, the files will be used in the program. As I discussed in the above, here we are including one library, right? Header file and all. So like that, many different kinds of file can be used. Okay. So first is a source file. Source file means after I write a program, I have to store it somewhere, right? And that storing extension will be .c for C programming. Like how we save the text files as .txt and PDF as .pdf and so on. So C program will be stored as .c. Okay, that is the source file. Header file, just like discuss, hash include studio.h, hash include conio.h, like that many are there. Okay, and object file is nothing but it will be stored with .o. Okay, it is a bit technical one, so just understand that object will be created of the program, it will be stored. Executable file is the binary file which is having ones and zeros. Okay, so all the code which we write will be converted to ones and zeros, and that file will be stored, it will be called as executable file. Next we have the escape sequences. Like for example, if I want to print f, okay, if I want to print like I am happy, and in next line I have to print I am not happy. Okay, so how will I do that? What will happen if I just put enter? Like for example, if you are writing a WhatsApp message to your friend, if you write I am happy, then click enter and write I am not happy, it will go in two different lines. But in the programming we cannot put enter and make it into a second line, we have to use a escape sequence. So what is an escape sequence? Escape sequence means we have to use slash n to indicate a new line. Like that, if you want a vertical tab, we will be using slash vf to move the cursor to the start of the next logical page, and r is there, and to convert it into hexadecimal, octal, double quote, single quote, backslash and question mark. To use all those things, we'll be using the escape sequences. Okay, so let me show you one example of the escape sequence for slash n and the single quotes. Okay, so let's understand this. Okay, so if I write here printf, okay, I wrote here printf, and I am boy, and I'll be writing here, I'll be putting an enter, and I can continue it like this. Okay, I am 23 years old. Okay, I'll write like this. But when I execute this program, what will be the output, right? It will be, the output will be like this: I am boy, I am 23 years old. There will be no space, means the enter will not come here even though I put it here. Okay, so to avoid this one, what we have to do is, instead of this one, we can write it in the same line, but we have to use a slash n. If I use slash n and then write I am 23-year-old and so on, so when we execute this program, what will be the output is I am boy will be output first, and then I am 23-year-old will be output. Okay, like that. Because of slash n, the in the output it will be taken into the second line. This is called as the escape sequence. Now another escape sequence example, which is very easy to understand, which is the uh, double quote. Okay, so suppose that I have to output this statement. Okay, I have to exactly output like this: she said I am old. Okay, I have to output it like this along with these two things. Okay, now if I try to output it in the normal fashion, what will happen? I'll be writing printf, uh, then I'll be writing she said, then I'll do like this: I am old, and then I'll do like this, and this one printf should be included between double quotes, so I'll end it like this. So what will happen? This will interfere with this one. Opening quotes, again opening quotes, it will throw an error. Okay, for that what we have to do is, as you can see here, slash and double quote is used. So what will happen if we use that? Okay, so to ensure that there is no error happening and no interference happening, I'll put a slash before that, and before this also I'll put a slash. So what will happen? This will be considered as a double quote, and this thing will be considered as a double quote. The slash indicates it's a separate double quote. So then the output will be she said I am old. Exactly how I wanted it will be printed. Okay, this will be the output. For that we'll be using escape sequences. So for some exceptions we are using the escape sequence wherever we cannot directly use the keywords, means the keys, and print it exactly how I want. Okay, for that situations we'll be using the keywords. Okay, like that many other keywords are there, these are the most two widely used ones. Okay, in exam also you can expect such questions with an example, explain the escape sequences. Okay, Moving on, we have the next one, which is the last topic, the input and output sequence. Okay, so what is the input output sequence? So input output statements in C, these are called as stream. What do you mean by stream? Stream means flow of data. When our data is flowing continuously, it is called as stream. And this stream, either the data is the input data or it is coming from the computer as the output data. Okay, so the text stream will be my name is Afnan. Text is coming here. That is called as text stream. If it is a binary values are coming, it is called as a binary stream. Okay, so let's understand first the output. How do we output something on the screen? By using a C program. Okay, so let's take int a is equal to 1 and b is equal to 2. Next I write printf, open a bracket here and put a double quote here, percentage d, I'll tell you why I'm using percentage d, apple and percentage d bananas, and close the quote here and put a comma here, then write a comma b. A is denoting to the a value which is 1 here, and b is denoting to the b value which is 2 here. So what will be the output? The output will be 1 apple and 2 banana. Okay, 1 and 2 is getting substituted from here. Okay, first d will substitute a, second d will substitute b, so the output will be 1 apple and 2 bananas. So we cannot directly include the variable value here inside the double quotes, otherwise what will be printed? A apple and b bananas if we put a and b here. So that to avoid that, we have to include the percentage d, so that the value inside it will be taken into consideration. So as you saw that we are using percentage d for the numbers, like a and b are the numbers, so we use percentage d. We can even have some string values or the character values or the floating values. For that we use different type of letters here. Percentage d is for the numbers. Okay, so percentage c, if we use like that, it will be for the character, single character. If you use percentage d, it is for the decimal or the numbers. F is for the floating point, and e and f is for the exponential format, and so on. Okay, main thing you need to understand is the C, D and F. Okay, if I use here as instead of a is equal to 1, I put a is equal to x. Okay, just a character x I will put in the single quotes. Then here instead of D I will be using C. Okay, percentage C. What will be printed is x apples and 2 bananas. Why? Because x I have used here as a character. Okay, char a is equal to x if I put like this. Okay, in that case, in this case I use percentage c here instead of d, and I'll print this. It will be printed x apples and 2 bananas. Cool. So this is called as the printf statement, and how we use the format specifier. This is called as the specifier. Okay, format specifier. Moving on to the input part. Input will be using the scanf. So here another example is given, you can go through it. Like for example, percentage d, percentage c, percentage f is used, and here I pass 12 a and 2.3, so it will be printed 12 a and 2.3. I percentage f, so extra zeros will also be added. Okay. Next is the input. How do we take an input from the user? Okay, scanf function is used to take the written formatted data from the keyboard. Whatever we enter in the keyboard, that will be taken. Let's discuss this with an example. Take input of 3 integers. Okay, I have to take the input from the user. The computer will say enter 3 integers. So I'll enter 3 values, and then one character, another character enter. After that, calculate the sum that should happen in the computer side. Print along with the character. The sum should be printed along with the character. So how do we do that? So here header file you have to use for printf and scanf. So hash include studio.h. Start with void main, and then the opening braces and the closing braces will be present here. And here int abc is declared and character f is declared. So to take the 3 integers we'll be using int, and to take the character we'll be using f. Now the printf statement will be enter 3 numbers. So it will be shown in the screen, enter 3 numbers. Okay, and then we are using scanf statement. How do scanf statement we can use? You have to take 3 numbers, right? So I'll be writing percentage d, percentage d, percentage d within the double quotes, and then I'll be writing ampersand a, ampersand b, ampersand c. For printing we need not require ampersand, but for the input scanf we want to require the we need to have the ampersand. Okay, so when we do this command, what will happen? Whatever I value I enter first, that will be stored in a, second value will be stored in b, and third value will be stored in c, 1 2 3 for example. Okay, so these will be stored in the respective variables. Okay, then we'll be printing enter a character. So enter a character, like that will be shown. Whatever character I enter, that will be stored in f. Okay, so in f, suppose that I entered x will be stored in f. Okay, then I will print the sum is percentage d. Percentage d should substitute the value which is happening here, which is a plus b plus c. Whatever I entered, that sum will happen, and that will be substituted here, and this whole thing will be printed. The sum is whatever the sum I got. Okay, and the character is percentage C, and F will be printed. Whatever is value in the F, that will be printed as percentage. This will be substituted with the actual value here. And since we are printing a character, we have to use percentage C. If you use percentage D, it will throw an error because F is not a integer, it is a character which I declared here. Okay, for character we need to use percentage C for displaying. So this is how you use the scanf and printf. That finally will be giving the return 0. Okay, that's all. And if you found this video helpful, make sure hit the like button, subscribe to my channel for more videos like this. And thank you so much for watching. I'll see you in the next one.